This man needs no introduction for the fans who have watched Mountain Men. Rich Lewis is known for his extraordinary life in the wilderness, but many have had questions about his whereabouts ever since he left the show a couple of years back. So, we bring you the answer to your questions and concerns, so let's begin with his biography.
On a random day in January of 1954, Rich Lewis was born to Mr. and Mrs. Lewis in Idaho, United States. Rich appears to be a private person who prefers to keep his family and early life out of the spotlight, as there is relatively little information about him anywhere. What is known about his upbringing is that he spent his formative years in a remote area of southwestern Idaho, where he was exposed to the wonders of nature at an early age. He would spend many of his formative years adventuring in the nearby mountains, and later pursue similar interests in high school through various clubs and organizations. He enrolled at Montana State University after high school, and eventually graduated with a degree in wildlife and fisheries science. After finishing school, he went to work for the United States Forest Service as a park ranger and fireman. He had no idea how much knowledge about the Montana wilderness he would get from this adventure. Before moving to Ruby Valley, Montana, this is where he met and married his wife of more than 30 years, Diane Lewis. Residents of Ruby Valley and the surrounding areas took notice of Rich Lewis as he put out wildfires and saved cattle from predators, demonstrating his heroic gestures stemming from his love of nature. He became an expert at hunting and exploring in the outdoors, even going after hazardous animals like lions. People started coming to him for help and paying him for it as knowledge of his skills spread. Eventually, he was hired to keep the inhabitants and their cattle safe in Ruby Valley, and he was even recruited by wildlife reserves to manage populations of dangerous animals. He and his wife agreed to be on the History Channel show Mountain Men in 2012. Their first appearance was in the second season's Into the Wild episode in 2013, which highlighted his formidable skills as a hunter and survivor. Rich is depicted to be self-sufficient in the show's depiction of the Montana wilderness. He constructed himself a cabin, and his days are spent trapping and hunting. In many depictions, Lewis is accompanied by his trusty pack of hunting hounds. Throughout the episodes, Lewis has dealt with a variety of obstacles, such as bad weather, broken equipment, and hazardous animals. Lewis has overcome these obstacles before and will do it again. He settled in Ruby Valley and stayed there for 20 years, earning a reputation for his survival expertise. As a result of his skill in keeping mountain lions away from his small town, he gained local celebrity status. He became a reality TV sensation because of his out-of-the-ordinary character and his refusal to take anything in his life at face value. The show gave viewers a glimpse into Rich's existence for 4 years in the wild, where they got to see him hone his hunting and tracking skills. Rich also helped out the local authorities and his neighbors by doing things like putting out fires and protecting them from mountain lions. Rich was given the moniker Lion Hunter because of his remarkable hunting skills and strategic prowess when it came to killing mountain lions. Hunting, trapping, and tracking in the harsh Absaroka Range was Rich's specialty on the show. He frequently spent weeks at a period in the wilderness, subsisting solely on the food he gathered from the soil and the furs he harvested. As a result of his heroic actions in the Ruby Valley, Lewis became a popular figure not just in the movies but also in real life. Lewis's no-nonsense approach and knowledge of the wilderness won over viewers over the course of 6 seasons and more than 80 episodes. In 2017, however, he decided to leave the show, prompting widespread speculation regarding his departure. It's not easy to make a living off the land, and he had to deal with some severe weather to do it. He has had to brave blizzards, sleet, and hail, as well as temperatures as low as 50 degrees Celsius. Furthermore, survival in the wild calls for an in-depth familiarity with the land and all its inhabitants, from flora to fauna. In addition, he has had to get by with inadequate means, which has proven particularly challenging during the lean months of winter. Rich has had to deal with a lot of setbacks, from broken machinery to health issues, but he's managed to keep his head up and learn some useful skills along the way. The lack of conveniences like grocery stores, water fountains, and electricity, unless generators are used, has been a major setback. Because of everything that's happened to him, he's had to learn how to fend for himself in the wilderness and acquire new talents on a regular basis. Season 6 was the last one to include Rich and his wife, Thus, many viewers were confused when he didn't appear in any episodes during season 7. There were rumblings that he had either quit the show or become ill. Lewis, it was later revealed, had to take time away from filming to deal with some health difficulties on a personal level and needed the time to recover. Lewis made it clear that neither he nor the producers had any intention of going in a new path.
Rich opted to leave the show on his own accord, giving his age and his way of life as reasons. He quit the show because he believed it was time for a change in his life, despite allegations to the contrary that he had a falling out with the producers. After Rich Lewis left the show, the next season brought young hunter Jake Herak to take his place. Jake is a lion hunter like Lewis, and he has a team of dogs to aid him in his pursuits. Despite popular belief, Jake did not replace Lewis because of any sort of disagreement between him and the show's creators. Rather, he was cast in order to maintain the show's central tenet of showcasing talented hunters in the wild. The most plausible explanation is that he wanted a new experience. It's possible that after years of survival in the wild, Rich was ready for a new challenge. After quitting the show, it's clear that Rich has thrown himself into life. The experiences in nature and the skillful work that come with being one of America's true modern-day mountain men will continue in 2023. And where is Rich Lewis at this point? Lewis and his wife have returned to trapping and living off the land, which is great news for fans of the show. No one has ever brought it up before. He's back in the Ruby Valley, training his dogs to track down elusive wildlife. Lewis is interested in several endeavors outside just his trapping job. Lewis is an avid outdoorsman who is always on the lookout for new challenges. He hasn't said for sure, but I imagine he'll keep venturing out into the woods and testing his limits. Rich loves leading his pack of hounds after mountain lions, despite the inherent perils of the job. Because of the need of providing for his family and getting ready for the severe Montana winters, Rich has to prioritize this work over his true passion, but it is still important to him. Despite the dangers, Rich enjoys his work as a hunter and tracker and is committed to his profession. Even after losing one of his treasured hounds to a mountain lion assault, he continues to forge ahead in the tradition of the mountain men who came before him. Rich and his wife Diane look to be doing well now that they are out of the reality TV spotlight and the public eye. Despite the show's apparent success, Rich has not been confirmed for a return. It is unknown what Rich has been up to since the series finale aired, or if he has been involved in any other high-profile projects or initiatives since then. However, he probably still maintains his nomadic way of life in the outdoors, as that has been his passion and way of life for quite some time. Perhaps you're curious in Rich's long-term goals. After 10 years of subsistence farming, it's obvious that this is more than just a hobby for him. Lewis refuses to settle for the same routine year after year and is always looking for exciting new opportunities. He is looking ahead to the future and is interested in expanding his career by moving into forestry management and sustainable timber harvesting. Beyond supplying food from his hunting grounds, he has also been giving to local communities in Montana by investing time and money into improving educational opportunities for children in remote places. No matter what the future holds, he plans to keep going strong by being himself, embracing technology, and lending a helping hand to those in need. His expertise now also extends to the fields of blacksmithing and cabinetry. Rich continues to support community initiatives and is an advocate for land management rights. Rich has achieved a great deal of success in his life, but he has never lost sight of his humble beginnings. He still lives in an off-the-grid cabin with his wife and dog, enjoying the independence and security that he has worked so hard to achieve. No information about the couple's offspring or grandchildren has ever been shared publicly. Unfortunately for his followers, Rich Lewis does not participate in any social networking platforms. The lack of internet in Lewis's remote homestead prevents his admirers from remaining connected with him and seeing a window into his world through social media. His enthusiasm for the outdoors is as strong as ever, and he is always happy to pass on what he has learned to others, but not via the internet. You can still find him doing what brings him the most joy, taking his family on wild adventures in Montana's wilderness. He's not only successful because to the show itself, but also thanks to his investments in businesses and items like trucking, publishing, clothes, and even a liniment for hunting. The History Channel series has been renewed for numerous seasons due to its massive popularity among viewers. Rich may have been making $10,000 or more per episode as the show's main attraction. Rich is said to be worth $300,000, although he may have earned more thanks to strategic contract negotiations with Warm Springs Productions. So, that's all about Rich Lewis of Mountain Men. Please subscribe and like for further updates.